Hello, friends. Melly Ponfadith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of SOAR Community Nebula. The goal for us this year is to bring to you 1,000 champions of change and community builders who are doing some incredible things with their gifts and their talents to shift and change our world. And today we have Miss Ann Madden. Thank you so much, Ann, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. We're honored. Can you please let our audience know who you are, where you're dialing from, and what you're currently doing in the world?
Sure. My name is Ann Madden. I live in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, and I am a photographer and a designer, and I am part owner of a gallery called Smith & Lens. I'm the lens. My business partner, Sandy Maggio, is a silversmith. That's why we're called that. And we sort of see ourselves as the little gallery that could. We are small but mighty, and our goal when we started it was to get out of the four walls and build community that way. And so far we've been very supported because we live in a special, wonderful place, and social media has certainly helped. And it's been a blast. I mean, it's evolving all the time, and it's not your typical hoity art space. It's an inviting kind of think tank, creative collaboration of ideas. And we live in this town, this little town on the Mississippi Gulf Coast that has this very can-do vibe about it. And I'm not sure that if I did live in a big city, which is what I always saw for myself, which is what I've kind of always done until now, I'm not sure I'd have the gumption to do the things that we are doing right now. I don't know that we would feel that we would be able to have any kind of impact. But when you live in a small town, you know everybody. And when you have a storefront, you know everybody. You know, I mean, you meet more people. And so you can kind of see like, what's up? And people here are just ready. They're ready to do it. You can throw out the craziest idea and say, you know, like for instance, who wants to meet me in costume and go trespass at the abandoned motel for a photo shoot? People are like, okay, you know, it's that kind of place.
That's fun. So what inspired you and your business partner to want to build community in the first place? In your unique way, of course, but why was it important to build community? What was lacking? What was missing? Or what was the motivation behind it?
Well, I really feel like this community was established and special and wonderful already. And it just felt really doable to build upon it. We are in a place in the middle of the downtown area. Our next door neighbors are kind of the living room, the quote unquote living room of the place. So this is the Mockingbird Cafe. They are lovely and wonderful and are amazingly gracious hostesses to everyone who walks through their doors. And then on the other side of us is an antique shop. It's a family-run antique shop that celebrates the quirky, weird, wonderful, you know, things that you, like the treasures. And so we're smack dab in the middle of them. And we are sort of part of a team of people who, you know, it's like, there's not a whole lot that's already like laid out for us here. We're so close to New Orleans where there's a festival every weekend, right? It's already figured out. But here, you make your own fun. You make your own weird, you celebrate whatever, and people show up, you know? It's great. So it wasn't like, oh, we need this is lacking. It was like, let's build on this thing that's already happening. But, excuse me, there are some, you know, being in a small town, there are some, I guess, holes in activity, like maybe for teens after school and things like that. So we are involved in this community drumline, which a friend of mine started. His name is Brian Wildman. The drumline is Barrett's Marching Battery. It is a completely volunteer-run situation. It is for all ages. They're not affiliated with any school or anything. The Boys and Girls Club lets them practice there and store their drums. It's all run on donations. And Brian, the founder of it, said he started it because he was in a drumline when he was in high school and it kept him out of trouble. So, I mean, you know, idle hands, right?
Yeah.
Plus, screens are taking over everything. So anything that's analog feels like major, right?
Right. Well, that's why I think analog is coming back, because we so desperately need that.
Yeah.
And also you said a couple of things. You said weird and quirky, and I love that. And what you painted, the picture that you painted of the community, of the coffee shop, of your community, of the antique shop, it just feels so warm, even when you speak about it. And I think that's really what we're longing for. Even in the big city, we're trying to build these communities now where we actually see each other, touch each other, look into each other's eyes. It's really beautiful. Okay, so the next question I have for you is, when in your life have you experienced empathy, love, and kindness from a conscious leader, a change agent, community builder, even a mentor, someone who's a stranger or someone who is really, really personally connected to you? What have you learned about being a conscious leader and being an awesome human being who wants to give back, and how did that seed get planted?
Well, I mean, I think that I've been really lucky with support. And I don't know that I really realized that I came from a supportive, like an exceptionally supportive family. I don't think I realized that until I left home and found out that not everyone has that. I mean, really, like, I'm super lucky. My family is very supportive of me, and I am eternally grateful. But I just, like, perspective. You don't know that you have it until you see that others don't. And that might be part of it. It's like people who are doing amazing, wonderful things deserve support, and they deserve to have it shouted from the rooftops. And that doesn't cost any of us anything. You just share. Look at this. Look at what this amazing person is doing. It costs you nothing. It spreads their love. Like, they love it. It spreads their work. It spreads a good energy. It's all builds. And then, making connections like that with, like, for instance, at the art gallery with a client and an artist, making that connection. And then, you've blown this client's mind with this artist's work. And then they find out that this artist is a neighbor. Like, that's pretty incredible and really, really powerful. But it doesn't even have to be a neighbor with Instagram and Facebook and all of that. I mean, we're shipping pieces to Australia and Europe, whatever. So I don't know. I think that I've gotten off track a little on your question, but yeah, I just think that, when you are supported, it's easy to support others. And I've been very, very lucky since moving here. Before living here, my husband and I lived in DC for 10 years. And we lived on Capitol Hill, which also has very much a community vibe. And we walked everywhere, got on the metro or whatever. The parks are very popular because nobody has a backyard. We had a baby, so we would go to the playground. That's how we met everybody. This town is also very walkable. And you get to know people quickly if you're out and about. And I was lucky enough to be gifted some art lessons by my mom when we first moved here. And I was a mother of two, one of them a baby. And those lessons absolutely changed my life. It was my friend Kat Fitzpatrick, and she pulled stuff out of me I had no idea was in there. And we're still friends, and she still mentors me, and I cherish her presence in my life. I had another friend, Lisa Horan, who was a photographer and moved to Hawaii. They're military. And she basically just handed her business to me. I'm like, what are you even thinking? But when people have faith in you and you're not you're authentically being who you are and not misrepresenting what you do, and they still think that you've got it, like, that's a boost. Yeah. When people take a chance on you, it's amazing. It's awesome. And that's something my mom has always told me, like, take a risk. And so when you feel like maybe you're not up to the task, but you see that other people see it in you, like, if you could just get out of your own way and let them, like, see what they see or try, then that's where magic happens.
That's pretty cool. It's really interesting that during these interview series, you see how people get to pay it forward, the things that they get gifted with. It just becomes very natural for you to want to do the same.
For sure.
The benefit and the feeling of love and acceptance that you received. It's really amazing. And I just imagine a world where, every single soul gets loved on just a little bit more, how much of a difference that would make.
Totally. People are entitled to this.
Yes.
They are.
Beautiful. All right. So when you think of a community builder or champion of change, what are some of the characteristics that come to mind that are just consistent in your opinion or your view?
Well, I did watch Elizabeth's interview, my friend Elizabeth Bartasius, who told me about you. And her thing was showing up. And that I think is absolutely at the top of the list. Showing up, caring, being authentic, and maybe not biting off more than you can chew, but making a commitment to doing one thing that you really feel is possible and spreading the word. I mean, people really do, I think, want to be involved. They just don't know. They don't know that they need to be or that they're capable or whatever, but cast the net wide and see what happens. I think that really just being a part of a community, that's like our obligation is to make sure that we're all connected and to, do our best to sort of network these, I don't know, like get people together and play on their strengths. Then that's, collaboration is key with all of this.
I think you brought up a great point. People just don't know what to do and how to support you. And I think that's really where the courage and the self-love and the self-worth comes in. When you are coming from a place of love and it's not just about the ego, you can ask for what you want and you can articulate what it is that you need, and to be vulnerable and say, I need help and I need support. Even if that means I need a little help sharing this because my community is still growing, whatever it might be. So I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easier to say, I need help with you to do this for our community, not for me. For we have these, these kids, we want to do this thing with these kids. Help us, even if it's just sharing it, even just sharing the information or whatever, just spreading the word.
Right.
It's much easier. I have a much easier time selling other people's art than my own. I mean, it just feels weird promoting yourself, but promoting other people, that's doable.
Yeah, I like it when I'm being the interviewer and I get so nervous that I'm the interviewee, right?
Yeah, I'm not totally at ease right now. But yeah, I mean, you're very nice and lovely and kind and approachable, and I'm grateful for all of that. But yeah, it feels weird.
Thank you so much for that. Well, let's now move into the next question about the causes, the movements, and initiatives that you really care about. How are you utilizing your gifts and your talents to move those initiatives or causes forward? And that could still remain in the context of what you currently do for work. But if there are other initiatives that you want to highlight, please do so.
Well, art is big in my life. So like I said, I'm a, partner in a gallery, and there's no shortage of incredible artists here. I am also on the board of the Arts Hancock County, which is our local arts organization. And I am constantly searching for new artists to spread the word about or to inspire or whatever, come and visit us and have a meeting and show us what you do. Things that are more unique, obviously, are more exciting. But there's so much right here. And I do think that you can make changes on a local level that are really powerful. The other thing that I was talking about, the Bay Rats Marching Battery, the Drumline, I'm on the board of that also. So I'm supporting these two organizations, excuse me, with my time and whatever talents I have. But, they are also they're important also because I have children and they are involved in these things too. So all of this helps, and then getting, they spread the word and the web grows, and it's just, all of it is building community and all of it is really important. And, we try really hard to get as many people as we can involved and to find the people we talked about before who maybe don't know and just get them on board.
Great. Well, Ms. Ann, the next question I have is about inspirations and motivations when things are not always easy and smooth and life gets the best of us. Is there a philosophy or a quote or a motto that really helps you to ground yourself, center yourself, and then move forward?
Well, every year in January, the gallery Smith & Lens celebrates Dolly Parton's birthday. And she has so many great quotes, and she, as much as she has maybe altered herself, she's a pretty authentic human being, and she's very much live and let live. Mm-hmm. And she has this quote that I love, and it's find out who you are and do it on purpose. So, it's all about authenticity and, do what you do. it might not be, like, as far as art goes, every piece might not be your favorite piece or your best piece, but they're getting you there. You know, you just got to do the work.
I love that. They're getting you there. That is so perfect. Oh, Dolly. She's awesome. Okay, Miss Ann, one more question for you is, if you could design a better world, what would that better world look like through your eyes?
Oh my goodness. More kindness, diversity, less fear, and, letting people be themselves unapologetically and celebrating our differences.
Yes. It's so interesting to have this conversation and think about how we find ourselves. And for me, it's about how we find our way back to ourselves, right? Like a lot of the things that we used to do so freely as children, getting back to it when it feels like, hey, I've been here before. It's because we were so innocent and so free as children. And I love seeing when people are older and they're in these adult bodies and you can see the child in them come out. It's so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I really appreciate you for your time today and for you in your own special way building community that is so needed in our world today. I value the time that you took with me, and thank you so much for sharing your gift and your love into our world.
Well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate you having me and encouraging me. Absolutely. And thank you for all that you do.
Well, I'm honored to do it, and I'm honored to know you. And I look forward to staying in touch. And please let us know, and those are watching you too, please nominate others in your community and yourself who are making some great impact, creating great impact in the community that you live. We really want to highlight their work and the causes that matter to them. Please visit us at nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miss Ann.
Thank you so much.